All right, guys. So the one thing that makes a salon owner great. All right. So this is going to be like a quick little preview of what I'm teaching today in the Level Up Academy. And as I was teaching, I was like, you know what? Let me share it with the world. Here's something that I've probably I, I I've been a failure in my own salon myself tremendously. And I think because we're entrepreneurs at heart, we're salon owners, there's a lot on our plate. I think one of the things that we do more than ever is we break trust with our team because we have such a big vision. We want to do such great things. We want to do so much. And typically, we are givers, right? We're in the service industry. We want to help support everyone and help just give everything to our team and really help them grow. And so we make these big promises that we can't deliver on because there's only 24 hours in a day. And what begins to happen is our team begins not to trust us. And that's not what we want to happen. Like we want to build trust with our team. So we have to follow through with our word. And I think as a salon owner, one of the things you have to guard with your life is that relationship and that trust that you have with your team or your team has with you. So having follow through and having the discipline to maybe not overpromise certain things because you're not sure if you can deliver or not. And I think we get so excited by either a new class that we went to or a new idea that we start like just spitting out all these great things and great plans we're going to do when we never really sat down and wrote out a map of how we're going to achieve it and how we're going to achieve it in a certain amount of time with the certain skills that we have with the certain team that we have. And so trust is one of the most important things that you can have with your team. And if you are that person and you have overpromised and you underdelivered, it's cool. You can get trust back. You just have to be honest. You just have to tell people like, hey, didn't work out as planned. I'm trying my best. I'm new at this. And for me, like I started my salon and I have a lot of crazy ideas I implement. And I'm always like, hey, I always thank my team for being part of this journey that I'm trying to figure out and trying to test things out because I use my salons as my testing ground for my academy. And so, whether it's a marketing ad, whether it is a new type of leadership style, whether it is a whatever it is, like a new structure of commission, like the independent commission stylist structure that I have, that's where I test it. I test it in real world, real time. And so I make sure that it works. I make sure that I can bring this then to the marketplace and let them know, hey, this is something that worked. And as time goes on, it changes. It may not work anymore. And so I always thank my team. I always tell them, hey, I'm not perfect. I'm trying the best I can. Sorry, this thing didn't work out, or sorry, I didn't follow through. And I own it. And if you own it, there's really nothing they can get mad at. I mean, honestly, if you're always promising and not showing up and not doing the things you're saying you're going to do, that's one thing. But at least I give it a fair shot. So I think when you talk to your team, don't be afraid of failing and don't be afraid of being honest with them. Like, hey, I tried this thing. I didn't have skills. I'm gonna keep on learning. We're gonna keep on working at it, and we will bring in new clients. We will do this simple client flywheel that Nick keeps talking about in his program, and we are going to make it work. And don't be afraid to ask for help. I feel like once we put on the salon owner hat, we're like automatically required to know everything that there is to know about owning a salon. It's not true. I think a lot of us, especially the guys out there, because our egos, I think, are a little bigger than the females, but we figure we have to know everything and we're the breadwinners for our family. And so we have this kind of chip on our shoulder where we're afraid to ask for help. And in a predominantly female industry, it's like you want to look as the guy who has all the answers, and that's just not going to help you either. And so some women have that same kind of mentality, and it's okay to ask for help. Like honestly, it's like there are plenty of things that I've fallen flat on my face on. And I got to go to my team like, hey, can someone give me a hand with this? I would like another perspective. And if there's trust there, if they trust you enough to be open and criticize you as an owner and give you constructive feedback, you're only going to get better. And as you get better, you start building a better team. And as you build a better team, you become more profitable and more successful. And then you have the ability to do great things in the industry. So this is only one of the parts that make you a great leader. There's actually 5. So if you're part of the Level Up Academy and you're watching this right now, we're going to kick this off in the lesson in a couple hours. But I wanted to make sure I shared with everybody Trust is by far the most important attribute you can have from your team as a salon owner. And it's a two-way street. They have to trust you. You have to trust them. They have to trust each other. So if you don't have trust in your salon, if I can give you any piece of advice, it would be make sure that you always focus on trust first. Make sure your team trusts you. Make sure you can trust them. Make sure they can trust each other. And when I say trust, I don't mean like them going into the register and not stealing money or stealing clients. They can trust that when they give you their opinion on something, they're not going to be shunned or ridiculed or like you're going to close their book out or fire them. This is a learning process for everybody. The world is moving at such a fast pace right now that if you're not growing with it, you're going to be left behind. And so nobody knows what's going to happen with AI in the future. Like nobody knows what's going to the industry, how it's going to be in 3 to 5 years from now. It just moves so quick. Like think about the changes that happened with Instagram and marketing and social media in the past 5 years. A stylist does not need to rely on a salon for clients anymore. So the dynamic of that relationship is changing every single day. So focus on trust. I promise you it will work. If you want to hear the other four, DM me right now on Instagram and I will give you access to the lesson or tell you how to get access to the lesson, or I can invite you to the Level Up Academy if you're a good fit. So ladies and gentlemen, James, we're going to kick into some Q&A if there's any questions. And if not, I'm going to keep preparing for the class.
Yeah, we have Dolly Mangione. I'm afraid of going higher with prices, but I know a fact. I'm the best hairdresser in town. I believe in myself now after 10 years, no ego, but I still feel pushback to go higher with prices.
That's a belief structure. You know you're the best, and you believe that you want to hurt your clients. You have to think of your family. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Think of your time is so valuable that if you're not charging your worth and that time you have away from your family, you're just wasting it. Like you're worth so much more than that. The other thing is this: if you're the best in the world, you need to charge like you're the best in the world. And when you do that and your clients pay to go to the best in the world, they respect you more. They actually value their hair more. And if they can't afford you and they truly want to go to you, they have to level themselves up financially and become a better contributor to their company to make more money, to get that raise, to do whatever they need to do to afford that hair service. You're going to make them better by working harder to afford you and your extensions or your services or your highlights or your whatever. So the people who wear luxury items like a Birkin bag, a Patek Philippe, a Rolex, there's a certain level of value. Like when you put your watch on, like when I bought this watch, I bought it because I hit a marker in my life. I just opened my salon, broke $1 million that year, had my first 100,000 liquid in the bank, and I felt like I deserved it. And I was like, you know what? My friend was a big Rolex guy, and I bought the watch. And every time I look at it, it reminds me of the success that I had. It's not like it's monetary success, right? It's not all of it, but I also value my time. And so having this, it changed how I felt about myself. And that may not be your thing, by the way. But when you have a luxury service that you provide for people, it should reflect in the price. You're the best. Charge like you're the best. Everyone else does it in the world. So if you want people to wear your hair like they do a Birkin bag, then make sure that it's priced accordingly. And what you can do now, if you truly want to and you love doing hair and you want to give back to the community, you could charge so much that now you have an abundance of money to give back to the community in regards to maybe the battered women's shelter. Maybe one time a month you do someone's hair for free and do a makeover and you use that for your marketing. And so you can do things now where you're giving more to the areas you want to give more to in your life because you're charging more with everything else that you're doing. So when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. You're not charging money for your service. It's a transfer of love. You're giving them something, their hair that they can love. They're giving you something in return. So now you can go buy something at the level of love that you're giving them, which is money. So hope that helps. James, next question.
Let's see. We got How do you handle when you accidentally overpromise to a stylist on your team? Like you meant well, but you couldn't deliver.
Oh, just be honest. You're not perfect. It's here's the thing. We make up this thing in our mind, like we have to be perfect, and it's okay. Be like, hey, listen, I fucked up. I thought I could have done it, but I didn't. How can we now work together? Let's try this again, and let's try do it more as a team. Where do you think that what's out of this promise that I made you? What part was the most important to you? And then try and deliver just on that one part. Because sometimes what happens, we make these promises to people, and there's like 4 or 5 different aspects of the promise, and we have to make all of them work in our mind. But in reality, only one part of that the person cares about. And so if you find out what that part is, maybe you could deliver on that, and then all the other stress goes away, and then they're just as happy that you delivered that one thing that was important to them, and you're good. Guys, communication is the most important thing. Nobody's going to give a shit about that in 100 years from now. No one cares. It's not going to matter. So just make sure you have that open line of communication with that person to figure out what it is, like what part of that promise was the most important to them, and see if you could deliver on that with maybe their help or someone else's help. Hope that one helped. James, next one.
Um, so I'm trying to build a strong culture at my salon, but I don't want to promise weekly one-on-ones. I already know that I'm stretched thin.
All right,
What's the
cool.
move?
Here you do. You got to do group. Do group. Don't do one-on-ones with people. You're a team together. I like bi-monthly or monthly one-on-ones, and then do everything else in a group setting. So take a look at the several issues you might have in your salon. Okay. And whether it's retention rate, client building, hair cutting, coloring, and you don't have to do it all alone. You could find who are the leaders at cutting and coloring and then put them in charge of running that one-on-one or that group. You could take the business building, maybe the clientele, the retention rate, the experience aspect, and run that group. And then whoever has that area of their career that's weakest, they jump into that program. And so I would do it where you get your 3 people who are really struggling with hair cutting, and then you do a once a week for a period of time. You record these sessions, and then you have those videos and the outlines that you're teaching living somewhere like on a Google Doc or Basecamp or some other platform. And then now, as your team evolves and grows, they can always go back and watch them again without you having to teach it, because you teach it once and it lives forever somewhere and it could teach them forever. But yeah, the one-on-one cadence for you as an owner should be like once a month in your team meetings, or with your team one-on-ones should be once every 2 months, every quarter. If anyone's struggling like really, really hard, then maybe you do a one-on-one weekly with them until they can graduate to a once a month. But yeah, you're spread too thin. And honestly, if you're the owner of the salon and you're still behind the chair full time, it's time that you decide what's more important to you. Doing hair, if you love it, then keep doing it, but then hire someone to manage and lead your salon. And if leading your salon excites you the most, then step away from behind the chair, delegate those clients to somebody else, and then you lead your salon. And so you can probably get more accomplished in 10 hours being a solid leader than you could juggling, I don't know what you're doing by doing hair an hour here, an hour there, and you could probably make more money. So dedicate a couple hours a week, get rid of the clients if that's your thing. And if it's not, then you hire someone to be a dedicated leader in your salon. And then you and them meet up once a week. That's it. And they meet up with everybody else. It's called the weekly agenda. If you're in the community program, watch the agenda call. The whole thing breaks that down.
If a stylist came to you and said, "You said I'd grow here, but I'm stuck," what would you say to them?
I would have them evaluate themselves. And first make sure you evaluate yourself. So if you're an owner and you made a promise that a stylist can grow in your salon, make sure you are doing everything you promised on your end. Then you have them give you feedback. Hey, where do you think I went wrong? And then if they say, well, I thought I'd get more classes, you could be like, well, Jen, we had 7 classes last month. You didn't make any of them. And so you want them to you want them to critique themselves. You want them to review their performance as well, where they were slacking. And so you both together can work on their performance. Everyone thinks they're going to get into the hair industry and they're going to become millionaires in the first 6 months of doing hair behind the chair, because You got influencers now charging whatever they charge on Instagram. They think that could be them. It's not going to be them. You have to make sure she's living up or he's living up to their end of the bargain. You have to make sure there's a clear position agreement. You have to make sure that you have OKRs, objectives and key results. So you make sure that what's the objective for this quarter? Our objective is to get 30 new clients in your book. Okay. So you break that down into how many that will be a month, how many that will be a week, maybe how many that could be a day. And then you focus on actionable steps that will get them there. And it could be how you doing 10 DMs a day on Instagram to people who were engaging with your content, looking for 10 models, for the first month. Get 10 models, film the content, have them collaborate with you on an Instagram post, have them leave a review on the Google business page. And then from there, you get 10 models, which turns to their friends coming into you. So maybe you get one friend each, which turns to 10 people. They refer 10 people. Now you got 20 new clients based on the content you created. Now, because of that, 10 more people show up. You hit your marker of 30, boom, objective met. That's obviously like a quick 2-minute breakdown, but make sure you have an achievement action plan to achieve the result that you're promising with them. It has to be a win-win. You're going to do all the work and they're going to win. No, they have to earn it. They have to see what it's like to go out and farm and hunt for themselves. That's the problem with a lot of owners right now. They think they have to do it by themselves. No, if the two of you collaborated on building her business and her growth and you held them accountable, it would be 10x where she is right now. I promise you. It's a team effort, and you have to let them see that. Hope that helped. James, last question.
We got two.
Two? All right, fire through.
Do you put everything in writing when it comes to team incentives and expectations?
Honestly, I don't. I should. I have everything in writing in my program, and I do have it like ready for them to go. But sometimes through our one-on-ones, I'm just so casual speaking to people. I'll just drop a new incentive for them, and I'll forget to put it in writing. And I'm human. Like sometimes I don't do it, but there is a position agreement for each one of the positions, whether you're a stylist, an assistant, a front desk. And inside of those documents that they sign and they agree on, that's where everything lives. But if we make any adjustments to it, I should go back and kind of rework it. But we do them on our one-on-ones. And so sometimes like midweek, we're talking and we have to make a quick little adjustment. I'll say something and not go in there and put it in writing. But for good measure, you should. And I don't want it to be like corporate America, right? But the whole point of putting it in writing, something happens when you and that person sit down and you write it down and you agree on it. And then when you go to revisit it and see how far you've come or see how much progress you made or see if everyone delivered on their promise, it's plain and black and white. And you're like, oh shit, I didn't commit to that or I didn't follow through on that thing. And it makes it easier than trying to use our mind to remember what it is that we said and what was that marker we're going to use to measure success with. And so I urge everyone to put it in writing. Even if it's like you get a Google Doc, and this is part of the ad agenda that I teach, get a Google Doc and name it each one of your stylist's name. And then every meeting, one-on-one you have with them, you jot the notes down in there. Any kind of conversation you have with them, even if it's in passing, just make a quick reminder, drop it in that Google Doc. And this way, when you have your official one-on-one, you could revisit those notes you had throughout the quarter or the month or the 2 months. And before that meeting, you have an agenda of things to talk on. And that way you don't have to use your memory or kind of scroll through your text to see what you guys talked about. You have a place that has all that information, and then you just link that to the event in your calendar, and then you don't never have to lose it. That's what I use. That one works really, really well. Jessica on my team does that amazingly too. Like every time we have a meeting, she pulls up the ad agenda and she's like, oh, we talked about this, we talked about that, we talked about that. And she has the file right there.
Last question. We got, who holds you accountable as the owner?
Discipline, your team, your bank account. That's the hard thing about being an owner. You have to hold yourself accountable. That's why it's so difficult to own a company. Because when you're tired and you're upset and you're broke and like everything is saying you should just quit and shut the salon down, you find a way to wake up and see the silver lining on everything. And you're driven by your vision, and you're pulled into the future by your future perspective and your future self. And so you need to have a vision so big that it fits your team's vision in it, but there's so much at stake that you can't fail. Like, I wholeheartedly, we are in the service industry, we're givers, right? It's hard for us to say no. Typically, 99% of us, we're yes people. We say yes to our clients. That's what we do. We love making people smile, feel beautiful, and be happy. And sometimes we don't do that for ourselves. We don't put ourselves first. And so when it comes to our team, we have to think about what it would be like if we failed them. What if I failed my daughter? What if I can't pay for her school next month? What if I can't put food on the table? And I live in this world of like fight or flight. And it's like, that will never be my reality. I will never have to go home and say, no, we're having peanut butter and jelly sandwich today because I can't afford dinner. And so I'm driven by that. I'm driven by the fear of not being able to provide for my family, for the love of my family. And so that's why I get up every day at either 4 a.m. or whenever I get up. And I have a daily checklist to my phone. Like, I have all my affirmations, and I have everything I read every single day and my goals. And one of my things I read every day is, I will dance with my daughter at her wedding. And so I heard, I think it was Ed Milet, some other speaker, I'm pretty sure it was Ed, and the doctor was like, hey, do you want to walk your daughter down the aisle, or do you want another man walking her down the aisle? And I didn't even have a kid at this time. And it was like, well, shit, like, once I had a daughter, and I don't want another man walking her down the aisle. I don't want to die and then have another guy have to be my daughter's father. Fuck that. And so that's why I made changes in my lifestyle with alcohol and working out and mindset. And like, I don't want that reality. And then when you look at your marriage too, it's like, a marriage is like a relationship. It's like, and no different than a business. So do I want to have to get a divorce and have another man and living in the house on the days I don't have custody of my kids? No. So you start making up these stories in your mind that are so great, that motivate you to make the right decisions, because on the opposite side of not doing the right thing is that other life. And so that's a reality for a lot of people who couldn't put themselves in that place and choose to do the right choose to have the right decision and take the right action and have the discipline to follow through. So for me, I take a look at the consequences of not being the best version of myself and what could happen if I don't follow through. And I go really deep and extreme with it. And then that's how I hold myself accountable. So that's what works for me. And honestly, if you take a look at people who did great things, they're a little bit crazy. And so when you have in the back of your mind the negative outcome that could happen, I do love living in positivity and the law of attraction and all of that. But just knowing that if I lay in bed for another 5 minutes, I may not make it to the gym. And that may be a domino effect to not let me walk my daughter down the aisle. I may have to maybe work an extra day or a couple extra hours tonight to make enough money to afford the marketing, to pay for the Google ads, to get my team busier. But on the other side of that, they're going to be making an extra $20,000 this month in combined more revenue. So it's worth it to me. You have to have a vision. And so sitting down with yourself, you guys you guys want to hear like one of the best ways to actually create this vision? It's fucking wild. It's called the 12-hour walk. Clear your schedule for 12 hours, get rid of your phone, get a notebook and a pen, go on a 12-hour walk, go through the woods, go on a journey for 12 hours. You're not talking to anybody. You're stuck in your own thoughts. It's like a psychedelic experience. At the end of that 12 hours, you have lived in your own brain for so long. You've unpacked every deep subconscious thought that you didn't know even existed. And at the end of it, you're going to have so much clarity on what's important to you that you're going to be so focused and driven. You're going to live it's going to be like being reborn again. So if you're struggling right now, you could either do ayahuasca and go to Costa Rica or go to Brazil or Colombia or South America, or go on a 12-hour walk, and you'll have almost not, I can't say as much clarity because ayahuasca is a wild experience, but you will have a lot of clarity. And I think that we're not honest with ourselves, to go back to the podcast, like truth, be truthful with yourself. Are you just doing this? Are you just owning a salon to prove the old boss you used to work for wrong that you can do it, or that person in high school who said you can't make money doing hair? Like, is there a chip on your shoulder that's causing you to do this to prove somebody wrong, or do you genuinely want to be the owner of a salon? And sometimes when you're honest with yourself, you're like, I'm just doing this to prove someone wrong. I made way more money renting a chair, working as a stylist somewhere. There's other things you can do. Like, you can make enough money behind the chair and you could open a car wash or a laundromat or a storage unit facility. And that could be your other source of income because you love making money, obviously, but you also love doing hair behind the chair. You don't like the other shit that goes along with it. So no one said you have to own a salon. If you're doing it to prove somebody wrong, be honest with yourself. Maybe it's time, like, hey, I don't feel like doing this anymore. That's cool too. And the discipline you need isn't the discipline to run a salon. It's just doing hair and showing up for your clients. And then you can find ways to invest the extra money you're making rather than spinning your wheels and paying the rent because somebody said that you could never own a salon for whatever reason. And now you're trying to prove the world wrong. I get it. It doesn't matter. It's not going to matter in 100 years from now. So stop trying to prove people wrong and just be true to yourself.
A lot of people in the chat actually right now.
Yeah.
Biz Tool Boutique, I would love to know how you would incentivize a team manager position where the goal is not for their individual sales, etc.
The team manager position.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. So if you have a team manager, I would tie them to some kind of sales. So they're in charge of the DMs, in charge of the emails, in charge of the phone calls. They're in charge of having the conversation to upsell the person into a higher ticket service if they require, if they really need it. Right. And so I run my marketing. I trigger a lot of emails and phone calls and text messages through Instagram. The clients are reaching in now, they're reaching out to us, and then their job is to get them booked in the salon. They get a percentage of that. Now, the success of the team is the team rebooking clients. Are they following through on their promise to the client? Are they able to deliver on the skills that we're showing out on Instagram? Like, does our after picture actually walk out of the salon like that? And if we could have that team manager deliver on that, making sure everyone is showing up 100% of what they're capable of today, there's going to be a higher revenue being generated by the salon. They can get a piece of the profits of that. So when we do revenue incentives like bonuses and based on revenue, I think that's where a lot of owners make the mistake. It should be based on profits. So if they can now be tied to the profitability of the salon, so we're doing parts and labor, we're recouping our color cost, our inventory waste is down, and the profits are going up, not just revenue. Because if you increase revenue, yeah, that's great. But if marketing's going up and retention rates down and all that, you're not going to be having any money to really give them a bonus. You're going to promise it to them like 10%, but there's nothing left at the end of the day. So you have to give that bonus based on profits. And then that is how you incentivize them. Make them like not an equity partner, but have a piece of the upside so it feels like it's their own. Take a look at what like CEOs get from big companies and corporations in terms of bonus structures and see if you can use AI to mimic that for your salon's structure and your P&L and how much money you're bringing in. So it makes sense.
Uh, Great hair by Gladys. Can you please go over Shopify selling products?
Yeah. That could be for a whole new call. Shopify is a website builder, like WordPress, like Wix, like Squarespace. It is your domain, it's your website. So, what you do with Shopify is you create your landing page, like your about me, your stylist, your services, your menu, all of that. And then you also have product listings. So, what I do to market my hair salon is I advertise popular products in a certain circumference around my salon, a certain radius. And so if someone's looking for Olaplex or Amica or Color Wow, they're going to Google Color Wow. How to use Color Wow. How to use is Color Wow a good product? Well, guess what? I have a blog on my website that links to a product. They purchase that product. They realize, oh shit, that salon's 5 minutes away. I can go in salon pickup. I can now also ship to them and put a gift card in for the salon. So I'm using the profit from the product to retarget to my potential clients who bought a product from me. So now they're customers and getting them to come in the salon because they already paid for my marketing to get them in the salon. It's a genius idea. So if you're a salon owner and you don't have a Shopify store and you do want help with that, DM me the word Shopify. We'll build it out for you. We'll set up your Google feed. We'll set up your Facebook feed. And as long as you have clear expectations and you actually listen to the directions that I give you, you'll be like some of my clients who are doing over 100 grand a month in 6 months. If you don't and you pivot too soon, then you won't have any success with it. Just like people who do hair and they don't follow through with anything. So it's a major way to bring in some extra revenue to your salon. It's an amazing way to market your salon and get more visibility with your local SEO. And it's just a great website to have because you're going to pay money for hosting anyway, whether it's WordPress or Square or Wix. Now you just host it and you can sell your products, and your clients who check out, you can do reoccurring shipping to them. So when they buy this Shaboui Everyday Shampoo every 6 weeks, triggers a sale, and you just ship the new product to them. So there's so many things that Shopify can be used for. If you want more information on that, DM me the word Shopify on Instagram. I'm at Nick Mirabella. And James, we're going to wrap it up. That is it for today. Guys, I'll see everyone tomorrow at 10 o'clock. If you have any more questions, just hit me up on Instagram. If you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, I'm at Nick Mirabella. In my story today, I'm going to drop the Monday Q&A, so you can put your question right up there, and I'll get it answered for you. Have a good rest of your day.